Good morning and happy Friday. Welcome to our Friday episode of our 90-day challenge. If you have been following us, you know this is an exciting journey of knowledge and growth. Our series of Go Lives are on several captivating subjects. We invite you to join us to expand your knowledge and challenge your limits, and maybe even ignite your passion for trying something new. In this series, we are exploring the following topics: health and well-being, inspiration, utilizing the online space, expert business knowledge, and gardening. Let us know your thoughts, ask questions, comment, or react. Let us know if you're watching the live or the replay. We just really like to hear from you. Okay, we are all ready to go. Today's presenter is Jose, and her topic is companion crop planting. So take it away, Jose.
Thank you, Krista. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, world, wherever you are. So by now, people are always, like even in the last couple of Fridays that I brought some information, people are thinking, oh my, this is like, it's a real science. The beauty of gardening is that really we need to just take it one day at a time. I was reading an article recently that said, there's one thing for sure, we will make mistakes and we will learn from those mistakes, right? So just like anything else, when we get started, there's going to be, growth. There's going to be some painful days where we think, oh, why did I let the deer? Why didn't I put an 8-foot fence around my garden so the deer doesn't get in? Um, you know, it always uh, it always boggles my mind when they have the entire forest around me, but they want to jump in my garden. Like, why? Anyway, we'll never know. So today's topic is companion planting. And it's a gardening technique that involves planting different plants in close proximity to one another to maximize their mutual benefits. So here's a few of those examples. So there's a technique called tall and short combination. So if you plant taller crops like corn or the tomatoes that grow taller than other tomatoes, there's a special name for them, near a shorter ones, such as lettuce and radishes, it provides shade because lettuce and radishes grow better in shade. So these are simple things that we can incorporate year to year. If you grow herbs like basil, oregano, and dill near vegetables, it deters pets. Pets. No, not pets. Pests. Thank you. I guess my coffee hasn't kicked in yet. Pests, and enhances the flavor of the neighboring plants, which is totally amazing. Like, who would have thought of that, right? Basil can help protect tomatoes from aphids. And so it also protects them from different pests. There's another technique called the Three Sister Guild. So if you plant, it's a North American tradition where you plant corn, the beans grow up on the corn, and the squash can both grow up on the corn husks. And the corn provides the trestle for the beans. The beans add nitrogen to the soil, and the squash shades the ground and suppresses the weeds. So it's a real technology. So you got to picture this. You've got corn growing, you've got the beans are growing up on your corn, so you need less trestles, and then the leaves from the squash are providing shade so that there's less weeds. Come on, it's so easy. Now, some plants also repel, again, more pests, right? So utilize strong smelling plants like marigolds and garlic to repel pests. I wish it was pets too, like deer. Anyways, marigolds can deter nematodes. while garlic can help ward off aphids and other insects. Then there's trap crops. Plant certain crops like nasturtiums and radishes to attract and distract both common garden pests like aphids and flea beetles away from your main vegetable crops. It's amazing how it all works together. Then there's complementary root depth. So you can combine crops with different root depths, such as if you plant lettuce, which is a low root, and then you plant carrots beside it. That way they don't compete for nutrients, right? So lettuce just needs the nutrients at the top of the soil, and the carrots can utilize the rest. Then there's beneficial insect attractors, right? So you want to deter the bad pests. I'm having trouble with that today. And attract the good insects, just like ladybugs and wasps, right? You want them to be able to cross-pollinate your vegetables. And then there's succession planting. So some crops don't grow. Some crops grow faster. Like if you want to plant radishes first, they do well because it's a root, and then later on you can plant within, let's say, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You can take those radishes out and you can plant cabbage. That will take a little longer to grow. Planting charts. Consult companion planting charts. You don't even need a chart. All you need is Google. Can I plant onions beside tomatoes? And it will tell you, how close to plant them. Example of that is like carrots grow well with onions, and cucumbers grow well with beans. Why? It has everything to do with the soil. Remember, the companion planting is not an exact science because the effectiveness of these strategies may vary depend on the location, the climate, and the soil, as well as the plant varieties. Experiment and observe how these techniques work in your particular vegetable garden to achieve the best results. By using a gardening journal as well to record so you can remember what you did in the last spring. Oops, sorry. Then you can record your observations, and it keeps you on track for the successful harvest. Successful gardening is the art of nurturing nature's beauty, one seed at a time, and watching it flourish into the vibrant tapestry of life. So again, it's all about experimenting and enjoying the fresh air and being able to see your harvest and enjoying the harvest after, because then there's a whole section that you have to harvest, and then how do you preserve those things, right? So you can have carrots all winter long. So anyway, thank you so much for listening, and send us any questions you have so we can answer those. And thank you for have a great Friday.
Thank you, Jose. That was great. A great presentation. Love to hear your input, Elena.
Awesome, Jose. That's a lot of information that I wasn't really aware of, and I'm a gardener as well. And I do agree. I put in the marigolds, and I find that I don't get many aphids and stuff. But one thing I would love to know is, controlling the weeds. I know you have to. I don't know if there's any kind of really little trick to do that, because once those weeds get in between the plants, it's like game over unless you're on top of it. And then if you get a rainfall, like our summer here in Ontario wasn't all that great. We had quite a bit of rain, so it caused a lot to it deters you to go into the garden to pick out those weeds. And after a nice rain, those weeds just whoof. I don't want to say that they're as tall as corn stalks, but they just kind of spread right out there. And then the other thing that really bothers me is the Japanese beetles. They really loved my beans. For the first time that I planted beans this year, they attack they did attack the beans, but there are ways to deter them as well. But it does take a lot of work and effort to do so. And just like anything else, it's, when you have the passion for it and you love what you do, your fruits of labor will flourish. So thank you so much for that presentation. That was amazing. Thank you.
We can talk after about the ground covering. So you could use
Awesome.
straw, like you need to use something to, to stop those weeds from. There's always going to be some weeds. The other thing about using straw, though, it does something magical with your soil. It makes it so fluffy. I don't know how it works.
Well, it
Again,
causes
it's
the
all science.
nitrogens. Yeah.
And then when you go to pull your weeds out, because there's always going to be a few weeds, but those few weeds don't have the opportunity to grow deep roots. So they come out really easy. So, and then the beetles, well, we'll have to do some research on that one.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you. Okay, Jesse.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for the presentation, Jose. That was really good. I really do not have a green thumb, and I've tried gardening once in my life, but this is a great insight of the various options that are available in terms of gardening. But what I started thinking about when you were speaking with companion is when you relate that to your human life, it's important the people you allow in your life. And we do recognize that some people do have deep roots and connection with you and they stay longer. And others are just there on the surface and they do flourish, but they're not going to stay for long. And that could be the cabbage and the carrots, or the lettuce and the carrots. So that's how I'm taking this message. Jose is thinking about the type of companionship I invite in my life, whether it's personal, business, or whatnot. Thank you so much. That's very insightful.
That's great, Jesse. Thank you so much. Okay, Pam.
Good morning, ladies. I love your presentation, Jose. And you all know that I'm not much of a gardener. It's so much science. I was never good at science in school. But my brother-in-law, he was an avid gardener, and he knew if he didn't get out and take them weeds out, they were going to choke something in his garden. And you know what they say? Bad weeds grow fast, right? But it's all about, it's like chemistry. One thing helped the other and they attract each other. So it is a lot like life, right? It's how we grow, what we attract. And I've had an experience with planting some vegetables, not many because you've all heard the rhubarb. But a few years ago, my brother-in-law, he used to plant snap peas and I loved them. I go out and stand up by his garden and I just have a snack right there at the garden. So a couple of years ago when I was working for my mother-in-law, I said, okay, she had those totes that she used to put her seeds in. So she said, do you want a couple of those totes to put your seeds in? I said, sure, I like to have some peas. I went out and planted my peas, only to go back the next time I had to work. Somebody had planted potatoes on top of my peas. So I ended up with 3 pea stocks that year. And I didn't have any corn for them to grow and tangle like that, grow up like that. So they were all tangled on the ground, almost like a bad weed. But I still got some peas out of it, and I sure enjoyed them. But I love you gardeners. You have so much patience, and I think it teaches us a lot in life. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. I love your gardening stories. They make me feel like I'm a master gardener. Okay, Darlene, go ahead.
Wowzer. Oh, Jose, so much information. Companion crop planting. Who knew? I thought planting was complicated enough before this presentation, but now I realize it's more complicated than I even thought. And you gave us so much information. It would take me a whole season just to figure out how to implement everything. Then hope and pray that at least some of my garden would flourish. The easiest gardens I know of is the natural ones that God gave us. Hello. Don't even need Google for that one, Jose. And what crops can be planted next to each other? I had no idea it was that complicated. Companion planting, like cabbage go with beets and celery, and carrots go with beans and lettuce, and corn with other things. Whoa, it's hard enough for me as it is. And then you have to worry about those pesky little critters that you need to keep away. I believe I'll just come to Ontario and visit you and admire your garden, Jose. Thank you very much. Elena, too. But the input you gave us kind of reminds me of our training. You know, it's like a step-by-step planting training. And I'm with Pam as well. I'm not much into gardening, but if I decided to, I know it would work out because we have this wonderful community of support. And if I needed you, I know you'd be there to help me out with that beautiful garden. And I'd have every confidence that I could yield a beautiful, thriving garden. Thank you very much for all that information, Jose. Woo!
Thank you, Darlene. And thank you again, everybody, for your comments. But what I thought about when Jose was doing her presentation was similar to what Jessie was thinking about. I was thinking about the people in our lives, but I was thinking specifically about our business and this morning group and how we have different levels and different abilities and different things that we bring to the table, and we complement each other, right? And we help each other grow. So we have our own little garden right here. And yes, and we're one's shadowing, one's going up, one's in the garden, one's growing roots. We're all thriving, right? In different ways, which I just, that's what I was thinking about when you were talking about your garden. And the whole community does that in their own way. But I was just thinking of our little group. I think it's awesome. So I hope that everyone enjoyed this presentation and received some awareness around this subject. And we would love to hear any feedback you have. As business owners, we are doing this 90-day challenge to expand our own knowledge as well. It only adds to our own personal and business growth, which is important to each one of us. If being in a positive growth mindset environment appeals to you, and if you are at all curious about what we do, send us a message, and it would be our pleasure to enlighten you on all the benefits of this journey. Gardening is the work of a lifetime. You never finish. Oscar de la Renta. And next week, stay tuned because we're changing things up and bringing something new to the table. So stay tuned for next week. So take care, everyone, and have a great day.